The responses makes up another list of themes. A loss of sleep. Everyone said it messed with their sleep. Crying. A loss of joy in their life. So people had different things that they enjoyed and they stopped being able to enjoy it. Going for a walk on the beach, going out with their friends, pottering around in the garden. A loss of joy. They said, the common thing I heard from all parents was, this has just changed me. Another one, a big one, and I've heard this from men and women, fathers and mothers, is a fear of the phone ringing or of any interaction with professionals. So just an absolute fear. And this is where I started to think this is trauma. I mean, so loss of sleep, a fear of the phone ringing. We've got, an avoidance of interaction with professionals, or just an avoidance of things that might be triggers. This is where I start to hear PTSD. Feelings of extreme anger. Feelings of extreme attachment to the professionals. So a real emotional attachment to the people who have that much power in your life. Even people who have been so badly hurt, they just want the professional to come back and say sorry, and that they see them as a human being. They want to be seen as good. Even when they recognize the unfairness of what's been done and how they've been treated, and that they don't feel their child was properly cared for, they still want that professional to say, I see you, you're a good parent. So there's a real dependence. And I actually, I understand how this gets internalized. I'm thinking about, there's a book, everybody knows the movie. The movie is called Shawshank Redemption. It's a short story made into a fabulous movie. Anyways, both in the movie and in the book, you hear Red, one of the inmates, is narrating, and he talks about institutional syndrome. So prisoners are getting told, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do that. And at first you hate the rules. At first you're like, who do you think you're talking to? And then it's like, oh, those are the rules. Okay, we got to follow those rules. Tick, 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 tick. And then it's like, you cannot live without those rules. And you want to be seen as following the rules. And you want the approval of the warden and the guards. You want acknowledgement. So a lot of parents, when they're telling me about the trauma that they're recovering from, one of the things they want is acknowledgement. They want to be seen as human. They want a real human to human apology. I'm sorry. I do see that you're a good parent. A lot of what they get, if they get an apology, it's something more along the lines of, oh, we've corrected that now. Yes, we wrote that about you. Yes, we thought you were fabricating your child's illness, but we realize now it's wrong. So it's been corrected. Let's move on. The parent can't move on because they've been really wounded. They've been really traumatized. It's not that simple. Let's just move on. And when you have professionals, first of all, the multi-agency approach is such a big thing. I go to talks and conferences, and it's all about how can we work together as a multi-agency? But then the professional as an individual wants to be seen as an individual. But the parents are scared of all professionals after they've been through something horrific. They are scared of the doctor, the nurse, the teacher, the social worker. They're scared of anyone who operates as a professional. And in a way, there's a fairness to that because the professionals are the multi-agency and they very much want to be, and they work together and, talk about this at conferences. Okay, so fine. If this is going to be the strategy that the professionals all want to work together, then the parent is going to be scared. If they're scared of one professional, if they have a bad experience with one professional, having another come along and say, let's move on, nah, it's not going to work because the parent sees the professionals as one. That's what you guys asked for. And that's what you got. So there's a problem. It's not this system doesn't work. Okay. The feelings of extreme anger and the feelings of attachment both cause another emotion. And I call it a meta emotion because it's an emotion about their feelings. Shame. The parent feels ashamed. They feel ashamed of the attachment. They think, what is wrong with me? I still want that person to come back into my life and tell me they're sorry, tell me they care, tell me they recognize what they did. What's wrong with me? They're ashamed of wanting that. They're ashamed of the dependency, but then also the anger, which is completely understandable. We as parents need to be instinctively wired to protect our children, which then means if our children are hurt, neglected, mistreated, we're going to get fucking angry. The anger, that emotion, and the fantasies of anger that play out, these are normal parts of having been wronged in a very real and deep way. And so, but parents are feeling ashamed. And it does not help that professionals have said mom is dysregulated. So feel like, oh, maybe I am dysregulated. No, no. The dysregulation didn't come before the trauma. The trauma came first.